international bestseller, If I Am Missing or Dead, a memoir about the abuse in her own life and the murder of her sister, Amy. She is at work on a book for teens.
Hi. I'm so sorry you're out there in the sun, but last year you were out there in the pouring rain. I am indeed Janine Latus. When I was 12, I was babysitting for a family that lived a couple of blocks away. Halfway through the night, the father came home. Now, this is how big I really am. Let me show you. So when I was 12, I was even smaller. I was babysitting, I was on the floor, they had these cute kids, one was 3, one was 5. I was rolling around on the floor with them, tickling and laughing, and the dad said, "Let's see if the babysitter is ticklish." And he got down on the floor, and he pinned me down, and he ground himself into me. Now I got him away from me by pulling the little hairs on the back of his neck, and he left cussing me out. A couple of hours later, his wife came home and she paid me my $3.50 for babysitting. And she said, "My husband will give you a ride home." And I said, "I'll walk." And she said, "Your mother will kill me if I let you walk." So I had to get into the car with this man. And I got into the car and I scrunched up against the side as tight as I could to that door. And he put his hand on my thigh and he said, "We'll never tell anyone what we did, will we?" Well, the first thing I did was, I told, right? I run into the house and I run upstairs and I say, "Mom, Dad," and I tell him what happened. And I look at my dad, and my mom looks at my dad, and my dad says, "Never tell anyone or they'll know you're a slut." Yeah, so which one of them harmed me?
All of them.
When I was 18, I was living in a garden view apartment, which you guys probably know means that the windows looked out at the wheels of the cars in the parking lot. Nice garden. And my roommate was also a teenager, and we had gone to the Green Door Disco, and we were dancing to ABBA's, Dancing Queen, Young and Sweet, barely 17. We were drinking, we were dancing, and then at some point I said, "I need to go home." And she said, "I'll catch a ride." Now, which one of us was in danger? So I drove home. I had this white Pinto with an orange top. I don't know if any of you guys are old enough to know what I'm talking about. And so I drive home, I've got my platform shoes on, I got my mini skirt on, and I go pull into my parking space, and I go down those steps that, make it a garden apartment, and I pull open the storm door, and I got the key in the wooden door, and all of a sudden his hand hits me on the back of the head, and bam, he bashes my face against the door. And he drags me inside, and he rapes me on the coffee table. Some guy had followed me home from the bar, and he raped me, and that table had sharp edges, and it was as if he had taken a cheese grater to my back. When my roommate came home an hour later, I was curled up in a ball on the floor, and she picked me up, and she took me into the tub, and she washed me off, and she put methylate on every single one of those scrapes. I looked like a pink and white zebra on my back. And she and I swore that we would never tell. And that is where I did something wrong. Like 75% of people who are raped, I did not press charges. I didn't report the crime because I didn't want people to think that I was a slut. But you see, rapists rape. They rape women in skimpy clothing. They rape women in U.S. military fatigues. They rape small children. Do you guys know that 22% of people who are raped are under the age of 12? They rape small boys in the locker room at football programs. They rape old women lying in their beds. They rape women in burqas. They rape because they are rapists, not because of what we wear. Furthermore, they re-rape, and they do it for a lot of reasons, but one of them is because nobody's ever dragged their sorry asses into court. In fact, other guys have given them the big high five for nailing the drunk chick. They've cheered them on for finally getting their girlfriend to do it. They have, as what happened in my marriage, cheered for guys who ended up having sex with a woman who wasn't even out of anesthesia from surgery. There is rape in marriages too. They rape too because their uncorrected behavior has become a habit. If there's no downside to raping someone, why not do it again? Here are some of the reasons men have given for rape. My boss was giving me shit, and I had to take it out on somebody. She was drunk. What the hell did she expect? I can't help it. I'm just horny. She let me feel her up, and then she was like, no. Seriously, she thought I'd stop? Those are reasons to enter somebody else's body? The man who pinned me down when I was a kid, he went on to rape a girl who lived down the street. If my family and I had stood up, that would never have happened to that poor girl. So please, press charges. Make your rapist take the stand and tell an open court why. When you said no, he did it anyway. When you were too drunk to say yes, he did it anyway. Tell the male police officer that you're not interested in his opinion, that you know what happened, that no, you didn't ask for it, that yes, you had every right to be in a bar, or every right to be walking down a dark alley, or every right to be wearing whatever the hell you wanted to wear. Rape is rape. You may go to court, and you may lose, but I guarantee you from experience that when that person is standing in the stand and the prosecuting attorney is saying, so she said no and you did it anyway, that he is not proud. He is not getting cheered on by his buddies at this point. He is ashamed. And maybe he's ashamed enough to never do it again. This probably does not need to be said to this group, but for God's sake, we need to stop referring to women who have sex as sluts. Belittling, demoralizing. It's a control issue that makes us not just be able to be people who have sex. And when you are raped, you are most decidedly not a slut. What we should be shaming, and you guys know it, is a rapist.